Good afternoon, one and all. Today is the fifth day lecture session. Today I am dealing with European drama, one of the famous European drama. It is written long time back in very first century, but later in 17th century, Jean Racine, which is entitled Fiadra or Phaedra, you can pronounce either way, but the right way of pronunciation is Phaedra. Um, it has been discussed today. Jean Racine wrote his own version in 17th century. Okay, but many other you can when you Google Phaedra, you will get many versions, which is written by Seneca, which is written by Euripides, which is written by Jean Racine. So these are the versions of predominant versions. There are many. I'll be explaining to you, but there are many versions where predominantly these three versions are much read and it is famous as well. So, in that context, I'll be dealing with the classical European drama, which is written by Jean Racine, entitled Phaedra. Okay, so what is the story all about? What is the important theme? Which are the characters? Because this story, this drama, has the characters. The name of the character is very much complex and you need to remember, if possible, keep a pen and a paper so that you will understand the relationship between the characters. Okay, otherwise you may tend to get confused. So without wasting much time, I'll directly jump into the introductory part of the drama. Okay, let me introduce the writer of this story, this play, Phaedra. Okay, Jean Racine is a French dramatist and is considered to be the one of the greatest playwright of 17th century France, and along with Mallory and Corneille. So these are the other two important writers during his time, and he is equivalent. Jean Racine is considered to be equivalent to Mallory and Corneille. And he is also an important literary figure in Western tradition because he is also famous for his tragedies and he is called as tragedian. How you can ask me a question, how tragedy of William Shakespeare or other playwrights is different from 17th century French drama or the drama sorry, the tragedy written by Jean Racine is different. The stylistic is one and the same. There is no much of difference between drama of William Shakespeare and drama of the stylistic of Jean Racine. They are much of similarity, but the story will be definitely different. And story, the uniqueness of Jean Racine's story, I'll let you know in few minutes. And what are the major works of Jean Racine is Iphigenia, Phaedra, Atalia, Eurydice, D. Jean Racine, Theatre Complete, Atalia. These are some of the major works of Jean Racine, but Phaedra is considered to be the important amongst all. So, when we look at the important aspect, what is so important about Phaedra? Love and lust. These are the two important concepts or important themes, important ideas which is discussed in the story. Okay, love and lust. You can see these two relationships in this story, and what are the characters which have inhabited this important theme is yet to be known. Okay, The story seems to be realistic and the real life issues are being discussed here. As I told you, love and lust is an important issue in anyone's life. Okay, that is the real life issue. and and here you can see uh, two what to say couples who define this love and lust. You can see love between Hippolytus and Arisia. That relationship is defined as love, whereas Phaedra and Hippolytus Phaedra and Hippolytus relationship is considered to be lust relationship. In the story, you simultaneously see how these two relationship. The central figure is Hippolytus, okay, whereas the two women, Hippolytus fall in love with Arisia, whereas Phaedra fall in love with Hippolytus. What is the relationship between Phaedra and Hippolytus? Phaedra is the stepmother of Hippolytus. So Phaedra here falls in love with her own stepson, that is Hippolytus. So that is the storyline which runs through the drama Phaedra. It deals with the idea of fidelity at many layers. Okay, there are many. You can see all sorts of relationship in the play. Well, that might be husband and wife, love and beloved, child and parent, master and servant, human and divine. You can also see some of the supernatural um, human beings. Okay, you can find some mythical human beings, mythical element human beings in the story. Okay, so coming to the characteristic characters of Phaedra is that Phaedra, as you know, she stands an important figure. She is considered to be the tragic heroine in the play, and she is the central character. Other than that, the story goes around with the character Phaedra. Phaedra is the daughter of Minos, and she is the sister of Ariadne. Okay, Ariadne is the sister of uh, Phaedra. And I'll tell you a small story before getting into the main crux of the story, because without knowing the backstage or backstory, background story of Phaedra and her relationship with other characters, you will not get to know what exactly happens in the story. So, apart from Phaedra, the other important character is Hippocrates. Hippocrates is the son of Tysius. Tysius is the husband of Phaedra. Okay, Tysius is a king of Athens. He has two wives. Okay, the first wife name is Antope. She is the queen of Amazons. Okay, when he come across this lady Antope, they fall in love, they get physical, and Hippocrates is their son. After her death, King Tysius, get married to Phaedra, but eventually she falls in love with Hippocrates in the absence of King Tysius. And as you know, King Tysius, he is king of Athens. He was the successor of his own father, apart from his uncle. He even declined his uncle, he dethroned his uncle, and then after his murder, Tysius took the position of a king. And Tysius is the son of August. Okay, Arisia is another important character. Arisia has two important roles. One is she falls in love with Hippocrates. Either way, you can say Hippocrates, he falls head over heels to Arisia. Arisia is supposed to be Pallas' daughter. Pallas, who is Pallas? Pallas is uncle of Hippocrates. Yes, Arisia is the daughter of Pallas. Pallas is the brother of Tysius' father, Argus. Okay, Inon is the nurse of Phaedra. She acts an important role in the story because all the decisions taken by Phaedra is the influence of Eon, her servant. She is the servant and the nurse of Phaedra. Okay, whatever, as I told you, she takes decision based on the comments given by Inon. Okay, Inon is the servant of Phaedra. She has an important role in all the acts. This story consists of 5 acts. In all the 5 acts, she has an important role as that of Phaedra, and the decisions taken by Phaedra is influenced by Eon, a servant. Ismene is confidant of Arisia. Arisia, she is the princess of Athens at present. She has her own servant or nurse, or you can call confidant. And Ismene is she acts even important role in the play. And Penelope is the messenger who moves between Hippocrates and Phaedra. Okay, whatever message sent by Phaedra to Hippocrates, she sends through Penelope, and even Hippocrates, he moves whatever messages he needs to send through to Phaedra, he sends through Penelope. And Theremanus is the tutor to Hippocrates, and he also plays very important role. So he is the person who sees to it that Hippocrates gets his rights in the kingdom of Athens. Okay, he is supposed to be the king after Tysius, and he sees to it that his own student, that is Hippocrates, should be the successor of King Tysius. So, in every step of his decision, and Hippocrates initially he discloses his love towards Arisia to his tutor. So you'll understand what sort of relationship they share. Student, it was not student tutor relationship. It was much more than that. Okay, it was much more than that. That sort of relationship is it's very rare to be seen in many of the tragedies. Okay, so, when we look at the text as such, what does uh, the play deals with? Phaedra is a Roman tragedy with Greek subject of 1,880 lines of verse written in 54 AD by Seneca. So before Racine wrote the story Phaedra, it was much more earlier written by Seneca, and which is some of the elements is carried out by Euripides. Okay, so the elements which is discussed by Euripides is copied or influenced by Jean Racine. So Phaedra consists of 280 lines. It's a long verse which explains the story of Hippocrates and Phaedra. Story of Phaedra. She is a wife of Tystius, and she has consuming lust for her stepson Hippocrates. That is the storyline. She falls in love with Hippocrates, but whether she succeeds it, and what was the reason for her being she fall in love with her own stepson. These are two extremes which you need to understand. Was it her fate, or was it the curse which acts upon her to fall in love with Hippocrates? And does she succeed in winning the love of her stepson Hippocrates? These are the two extremes of the story. Okay, so if you ask me such a question, I would say that Phaedra, she did not act upon her own whims, or you cannot say that she has fully, completely love towards Hippocrates, because but she had an influence. She is a passive victim of a curse brought upon to her or her family by Neptune. Okay, Neptune is god of oceans. God of oceans, Neptune, had cursed her parents. The curse which they inherit, the elements of that curse was also followed to their bloodline, that is, their daughter Phaedra. So Phaedra, she acts upon that. Some of the critics are of the same opinion that Phaedra, she fall in love with her stepson not out of um, her love or lust, because she inherited the curse which is followed by her family line or bloodline. So this is the interpretation which is given by some of the critics. And when you look at try to understand the backdrop of the story, you will get to know she acted based on that emotion, not out of her own wishes. Seneca portrays Phaedra as self aware and direct in the pursuit of her stepson, while in the other treatment of death, she is more of a passive victim of fate. Okay, she's the passive victim. As I told you, her family had a curse by Neptune, or Neptune, god of ocean. So henceforth, that might be one of the reason. The curse might be one of the reason making her fall in love with her own stepson. She, when you look at the initial stage of the story, you will understand what sort of relationship shared by stepmother and stepson. Okay, stepmother and stepson Hippocrates, they don't share a good relationship. Every time they come across, they share a bad emotion or bad vibes between these two. Phaedra always give a negative comment. She has anger towards Hippocrates. Why? Because she wanted to avoid somewhere, say in somewhere, in some point, maybe Act 4 or Act 3, she gives that statement because she wanted to deliberately avoid Hippocrates in front of her, because she was her emotions were getting out of control. She couldn't control her emotions, love emotions towards her own stepsons. Henceforth, she would give bad vibes. She speak ill about her. She tried to avoid, and she tried to give negative show negative emotions towards Hippocrates. That is one of the reasons. So here, Hippocrates always thinks that his stepmother doesn't like him. So he decides to stay away from the kingdom of Athens, and in the story also he was about to leave the place. Okay, which did not happen because his father, that is Tysius, had bestowed some of the responsibilities to Hippocrates in his absence. Okay, Hippocrates was assigned some responsibilities and he had to look after. So to substantiate that, I am telling that Phaedra is the passive victim of her fate. Okay, but her fate has decided her pros and cons, and she is only acting based on that. Today, I'm discussing Jean Rassen's Phaedra. Okay, yes. Play has influenced drama over two millennia, particularly the work of Shakespeare and dramas of 16th and 17th century France. And as I told you earlier, that Phaedra is not the mythical story or the drama written by Jean Racine. It was much earlier written by many other writers. The notable dramatic versions of Phaedra story were influenced by Seneca's version, including Phaedra by Jean Racine and Phaedra's Love by Sarah Khan. So there are many other writers who have influenced by the main story, mythological story of Phaedra, and they have their own versions. And Jean Rasen had has make Phaedra as the central figure, whereas Euripides, these are the two major versions. Euripides has Hippocrates as the tragic hero. These are the major importance. And Jean Racine, how they have their own perspective for the argument which they need to substantiate. Okay, that is where the difference lies. And don't get confused with Euripides' version of Phaedra and Hippocrates. His story was entitled as Phaedra and Hippocrates, whereas Jean Racine he eliminated the from the title which is written by Euripides, Phaedra and Hippocrates, and he gave a similar title to his drama, saying that he eliminated Hippocrates and wrote only Phaedra because he has brought in the emotional upheavals, ups and downs of Phaedra itself in the story. She becomes the central character. Her emotions towards her stepson Hippocrates becomes the central element of discussion in the story. Okay, and I told you about the differences, major differences. Yes, I would like to. I've already discussed that part. Okay, and coming to the backside story of uh, Phaedra, I would like to give you a overview of the background of the story, without which it is highly impossible to understand Phaedra, what the actions happen in the text. The story begins with Tisius' father, August. Okay, the story begins from there, and there are two stories parallelly running. Why? Because you need to understand how Phaedra and Tisius got to know each other, how they met, how they fall in love, whether they fall in love, how they got married, what is the importance of Tisius and what is the importance of Phaedra family is very much important to know. Without which you will not understand the importance of the story Phaedra written by Jean Russell. Okay, the story. I'll at initially I'll be telling the important elements which happens in the life of Tisius, and secondly I move to the story of Phaedra. So I'll begin with the story of Tisius. Tisius is king of Athens. He got this position of kingship from his father August. August had what to say, brothers. They four brothers, and August was the first son to his father. Henceforth, he got the kingship. But August had a competitor, that is his own brother, second brother, that is Pallas. And Arisia is the daughter of Pallas. Okay, so Pallas was very much desired to be a king. He want to be the next king after August, but fortunately fortunately get married to the princess of Trozen, that is Athera. Okay, Athera is wife of August, and to them they get married, and Tisius was born. But after the birth of Tisius, August, she did not stay with her husband. Instead, she simply walked into the sea and she devastated Neptune, the god of oceans. She simply walked there. We don't know the exact reason why she did so, but she acted in such a way that she simply moved into the sea. And she also claims that Tisius is the son of Neptune. She wanted Neptune to agree that Tisius is her son. This is the mythology which goes around. Okay, so Tisius henceforth he did not grow in Athens. Instead, He went back to his motherland, that is Trojan, because his mother Athira was queen of Trojan. Okay, her mother was princess of Trojan. Henceforth, he was growing there. Parallelly, the second story is the story of Phaedra. Phaedra parents were Minos and Pasiphae. Sorry, Pasiphae. Pasiphae is the name of the mother of Phaedra, and Menos or Minos, you can pronounce either. Minos is the father of Phaedra. Okay, Minos is the king of Crete. Okay, whose Tysius' father Argus is the king of Athens, and Phaedra's father Minos is the king of Crete. Okay, Crete is the name of a place. So once so happened that god of ocean, Neptune, he gave a beautiful white bull he gifted to the king of Crete, that is Minos. But Minos, he did not, why he gave? Because with a purpose. He wanted the Neptune, god of ocean, wanted that white bull to be sacrificed in the name of Neptune. So that it is a ritual like, okay, whatever the human give to God in the name of God, a sacrifice. They have a auspicious things to us. They'll enhance their energy. The God will enhance their energy through the sacrifices offered by the human beings. That is the belief, and that is why the rishis who they sacrifices their the animals. They do rituals. They do yagnas, yagas, and everything whatnot. Okay, so here, Minos did not agree to sacrifice that white bull. Instead, he keeps mum and he was looking after that. But Neptune became very angry. The god became very angry, and Neptune ordered to Venus. Venus is the goddess of love. Okay, goddess of love is Venus. So what so happened that Neptune ordered Venus to give a curse to the wife of Minos, that is Pasiphae, to fall in love with the white moon. Okay, henceforth Pasiphae, she falls in love with the white bull, which was gifted by God Neptune, which is supposed to be god of ocean. Okay, I think I'm not making any hustle arguments. You please get to know the track of the story. Okay, what so happened, because Neptune ordered Venus, goddess of love, to make the wife of Minos to fall in love with the bull. So the wife Pasiphae, she falls in love with the bull. For both of them, they gave birth to a son, which is named as Minotaur. Okay, Minotaur is a monster. Minotaur, as the name in itself indicates, is a monster. It becomes a monster. Why? Because the baby given birth by Pasiphae, it was half man and half bull. And that Minotaur, which is son of the bull and Pasiphae, was eating only human beings. Okay, henceforth, Minos, who is the king of Crete, decides, he brought in a rule that every year Minotaur will be offered 7 men and 7 women as the food it needs to survive. No, henceforth, after the birth of Minotaur was forcefully hidden in labyrinth. Okay, it was forcefully made to stay in labyrinth. Labyrinth is a place where it's a secretive place where the way to it is very difficult. Okay, the way to it, it will have a passage where you need to move here and there to reach a place where Minotaur is been hiding. To it's been securely looked after by Menos, the king of Crete, because Minotaur was having human beings as its food. It was not a good tradition. This element, what Minotaur was doing, was also very much known by the kingdom of Athens. The people of Athens also realized that Minotaur is eating human beings. So the king of Crete and the king of Athens, that is Minos, king of Crete, and Argus, king of Athens, they had a peaceful treaty agreement. They signed an agreement, say that if needed, Athens, the city of Athens, is going to provide 7 men and 7 women, women, uh, to be offered to Minotaur, which is a monster. At the Tysius gets into the story at this juncture, okay? Because Tysius, after his mother went into waded into the sea, he is growing in the city of Trojan, and now she realized when he realized that he belongs to Athens. He come to the city of Athens and he realized that Minotaur, he is supposed to be a monster, is eating people, and the city was very sober. It was very unhappy. The city of Athens was very unhappy because they are losing people. They are losing people in and around. Henceforth, Theseus decided to kill the monster Minotaur. Okay, he decides to kill Minotaur. Henceforth, he mingles with that people amongst the people, the 7 men and 7 women. He became one with the 7 men and he set the sail. The sail is considered to be a black sail. It is called as black sail. It is named as black sail because that sail is referred to loss of hope, because once it is set sail, there is no hope of returning back. Henceforth, it is named or identified as black sail. Okay, black sail is the sail which doesn't have any hope. So Theseus set the sail of black sail, and his father doesn't like it. August doesn't like his son to be in the mouths of Minotaur. Okay, son to be killed, because he is supposed to be the next king of Athens, and if he is doing such a brave action, any father will not accept. But Tysius was very much sure that he needs to go on the voyage. Henceforth, he set the black sail. Okay, and after, because the son has made the decision, even August did not stop him much. Instead, he leaves his son to do the actions which he need to do, and he now Tysius has arrived to Crete. That's how Tysius landed in Crete, and these are some of the incidences where Tysius becomes a philanderer. Okay, he becomes a philanderer. Philanderer is a person, is the name of, is a person who is much interested to go on expeditions, to explore new places, to do brave actions. That defines philanderer. So Tysius was a philanderer. He ends up in a philanderer. And when you look at the beginning of the story, Phaedra, there also you see that Tysius is absent from this scene for a long time. Okay, for a long time he is not in Athens. He has gone out to for another reason. Okay, he has gone out of Athens to win some people. So he want to wage a war against people, and henceforth he is not there. So these are the Tysius has that inquisitiveness. He has that brave heart and brave action to move around and to explore new places. So Tysius, who is in Crete, come across the daughter of Minos. Who is Minos? Minos is king of Crete, and Minotaur is almost stepson to Minos because his wife gave birth to Minotaur, falling in love with a bull. Okay, so Minos' wife Pasiphae, she also gave birth to two other daughters to Minos. Okay, for king of Crete and queen of Crete, that is Pasiphae, they had two daughters, beautiful daughters. The first daughter is named as Ariadne, and second daughter is Phaedra. So the moment Tysius reached Crete, he come across the first daughter of Minos, that is Ariadne, the first daughter, and they fall in love with each other. Tysius seduces Ariadne, and they fall in love with each other. And she was the one who helped Tysius to kill Minotaur. Okay, what she did, she gave two things to Tysius. One is she gave a sword to kill him, and the second thing is she gave a ball of strings, ball of threads. Okay, she had that huge bulge or a huge roll of threads, strings. Okay, which help through that strings. She instructed to Tysius to use by using that string, he can move to the labyrinth. Okay, labyrinth, the place where Minotaur is hiding, and that after killing him, to return back to his regular place, he need to have a way. So to make that easy way to Tysius, she gave that roll of strings, and through that help, he reached labyrinth and he killed Minotaur. Okay, he killed Minotaur and he returned back. But unfortunately, the news reached to the father of Tysius, August, saying that Tysius is killed in Labyrinth. Okay, in Crete, in the city of Crete, Tysius is killed. So August becomes so unhappy that his son is dead. So he couldn't hear it. He commits suicide. Okay, he commits suicide. And after the death of the king August, his brother Phalas was interested in taking over the throne. But according to the norms of the succession, it was supposed to be the king Tysius to be the next heir to the throne of Athens. But uncle and nephew, they got fight with each other, and Tysius uh, killed his own uncle Phalas, and he became the next king to the throne of Athens. But Theseus sees to it that Phala's only daughter, Arika, not to be killed. Okay, he sees to it that she is not killed. Instead, she was arrested, she was kept secluded, and she was also ordered not to marry and not to have children. So that was the punishment given to the daughter of Phalas, and she is now under the clutches of Tysius, who then, after the death of his uncle Phalas, he took the throne. Even Arisia is the rightful heir. She has royal blood in her, and she is supposed to be the next princess for the Athens. Because of Tysius, she couldn't. It was not happening, and now Tysius is king of Athens. Before Tysius leaving Crete, he had fallen in love with the first daughter of Minos, that is uh, Ariadne, okay, Ariadne, daughter of Minos. But as she eloped, Ariadne, she eloped with Tysius, but eventually he lost. Tysius lost interest in Ariadne, and he left her in the island of Nexus. He left her in the island of Nexus, and he now has started interest in Phaedra, second daughter of Minos. That's how Tysius and Phaedra come together. They fall in love with each other. And Phaedra, she did not worry anything, and she simply married to Hippocrates. Sorry, she simply married to Tysius. After she got married, now she is in uh, Athens. But between these two sisters, love and marriage, once so happened that Tysius had captured the queen of Amazons, that is her Antropy. Her name is Antropy. She is queen of Amazon, and he fall in love with her. He had married after the love of finishes the love of Phaedra's sister. He had got married to Antropy, queen of Amazons, and for them it was son Hippocrates. They both gave birth to Hippocrates, and he is the rightful son of Tysius. After the death of Antropy is killed very savagely, and she is triggered to be killed in a savage war. After many years, Tysius revisited Crete, and then he married to Phaedra. That's how Tysius and Phaedra got together, and Phaedra is the second wife of Tysius. So, the story begins from this situation. Okay, from this situation, Hippocrates is already a well-grown person. Hippocrates is a young, handsome person, and Phaedra, she after she got married to Tysius, even she had given birth to two of the sons. Okay, Demophon and Acamas and Demophon are the two sons of to Phaedra and Tysius. So, in the succession of hair, the story also gives you the political backdrop, element of political aspects. In there is a contenders for the throne, four contenders for the throne. That is two sons of Phaedra, Hippocrates, and Arisia. These are the four people who are contesting for the position of the throne than Theseus. And this is one way of understanding, and the other way is that Phaedra is in love with Hippocrates. Okay, Hippocrates was also not under the care of Tysius, but he was staying away from Athens. Okay, he was also moving here and there. He is also interested in hunting. So he was all the time, most of the time, is away from Athens. And the other reason why he is away from Athens is that he and Phaedra were not in good terms. They had bad emotions between each other, and Phaedra always sees to it that she humiliates Hippocrates in front of many. Why? Because she has that fear within her that she would disclose, she would anyway show love and lust. It's not love, it is a lust, it's an incest relationship. So she want to hide it. Henceforth, she would somehow or the other uh, give disrespect, show disrespect towards Hippocrates. So that sort of relationship they share. At the beginning of the story, you see that Tysius is away from kingdom. He had left the kingdom with his old friend to capture the wife of Hadrias. To capture the wife of Hadrias, he is the king of underground. He is the king of underground, Hadrias, and they have left. Tysius had left to uh, out of Athens to win him. And now Hippocrates is given the responsibility. Some of the responsibility rest on her shoulder. That is two responsibility that he has to look after Phaedra, stepmom of Hippocrates, and the other responsibility is he has to look after Arisia equivalently respectful as that of Phaedra. So Phaedra and Arisia are two responsibilities we need to look after. At the very outset of the story, you see that Phaedra is sharing her emotions with her only servant Inon. Okay, only servant Inon. She is sharing, saying that, see, Hippocrates, I can't stop myself from loving Hippocrates. That was the important issue, important emotion which she shares, and she's all alone in the palace. That was also the important reason for Phaedra to share her emotions to her servant, confidant servant to Eon. So she is emotionally imbalanced now because on the one hand, Tysius is away from Athens. There is no information about him. Many of them suspect that he is no more. But once so happened that the Athens received information, received news saying that Tysius is no more. In being a philanderer, because of some difficulties which he faced, he is being killed. And after she received the news, Phaedra decides that there is no logical stoppage to her to express her love towards Hippocrates. So once so happened that she expressed her love to Hippocrates, and she simply says that she is in love. But Hippocrates is a very loyal person. He knows, he understands the relationship, and he declines the love proposal of her stepmom, Phaedra. But the strong point of Hippocrates is that his tutor also, were addressing some of the issues related to Phaedra and Hippocrates. He always say that Phaedra doesn't like Hippocrates and he has to be away, but it did not happen so. And unfortunately, the kingdom received the news that Tysius is alive and he's returning back to the kingdom. And Phaedra, she got afraid. She doesn't know what to do. She has done a emotional blunder. She has acted so stupid by the words after listening to her confidant. She was the one who provoked Phaedra after hearing the news of the death of Theseus. She was the one who provoked Phaedra to share the news. And after they got to know that he's alive, Phaedra felt very bad, and she decides to escape from the mistake she had done. Henceforth, she informed Tysius that Hippocrates misconducted with her in his absence. Okay, which is not true, but she tells a lie because she wanted to escape from the humor. Sorry, she wanted to escape from the humiliation which happened with her. Now she is humiliated because any stepmother cannot propose to stepson, despite what they share, what emotions they share, what relationship they share. She can't do. Now she is humiliated. Henceforth, she gave a false news, thinking that he would be exiled for some time. Okay, definitely Tysius would believe Phaedra word, and he would be Hippocrates would be away from the state for some time. But it did not happen so. Tysius, he ordered again Neptune, god of ocean, to give punishment to his own son Hippocrates. He did not do any trial. He did not try to get to know what was the real issue or real truth. Instead, he simply ordered Neptune, god of ocean, to punish his own son Hippocrates. But Hippocrates, meanwhile, had shared with his tutor, and he also shared with his father that he did not do anything, but he hid what sort of actions did by Phaedra in the absence of Hippocrates. Instead, he only said that he is in love with Arisia, not Phaedra. Hippocrates was a very just man. He was a very genuine person, and when he got to know that Neptune is going to punish him, he did not speak any word. He see to it that his stepmother reputation is not damaged. So he kept the truth within himself, and he did not say a single word against her to his father Tysius. So now Neptune has received the orders, and now Hippocrates is no more. Hippocrates was killed by a monster bull, which emerged from the depth of the oceans. Okay, you remember this Minotaur? Minotaur is the monstrous bull, uh, which was given birth by the queen of Creta. Okay, she was, and now Minotaur erupts, comes out of the ocean and kills Hippocrates, and now Hippocrates is dead. This servant of Phaedra, that is Eon, she comes to Phaedra and informs that Hippocrates has been killed by Tysis. And now Phaedra is feeling guilty. She is grieving for the death of Hippocrates, and she gets to know that Hippocrates is supposed to kill. Okay, before the action happens, it goes zigzag way. Okay, she tries to avoid the blunder, and she with the words of Eon, she goes to her husband, and she confesses that it is not Hippocrates who misconducted with her. Instead, it was her mistake, saying that she shared love with Hippocrates. And after realizing the mistake of Tysius, he tried to stop Neptune from killing his own son, but it was too late, and Hippocrates was already dead. He has lost his life. After listening to the death news of Hippocrates, Phaedra injects poison to herself, and she was also dead. Okay, she becomes henceforth, and the love between the element of love which was inside Phaedra, because this happened because she was cursed. She carried the curse of her mother. Okay, she carried the curse of mother because Neptune curses Minos, his wife, to fall in love with a bull. Henceforth, that same, see, even the first daughter of Minos was not. She falls in love, but she did not survive. Even the second daughter, that is Phaedra, she carries the same curse, but ultimately she also did not end up in successful love in the name of lust and love. She infatuated love. She also kills herself, and this is um, that's how the story ends. The killing of the suicide of Phaedra is the end of the story. Even her servant Eon also kills herself, because even for the second time, Phaedra blames Eon, saying that it was you who promoted me, to provoked me to share, to propose, to confess my love, to confess her love to Hippocrates. Otherwise, Phaedra would have stopped herself, but it was Eon, and it is vice versa. Eon, she is a simple servant, obedient servant to Phaedra. After she got to know the death news of Theseus, she simply said she has every right to propose, confess her love. It was not even the mistake of Ian, it was not even the mistake of Phaedra, because she understood the relationship, because she got to know that her husband is no more. She confessed her love. And in a second way, the second mistake of Ian is that even after mm, uh, she realizes that it was her fault, her fault, portion of mistake to inform Phaedra to confess her love. She says, after Theseus got to know that Phaedra has done the mistake, she again Ion advises Phaedra that whoever has done the mistake, and they must be punished. So Phaedra get very depressed, and she blames Eon that it was her mistake on her part. Otherwise, she would have not done that blunder of confessing her love. So in either way, Phaedra blames Eon for the mistake. Henceforth, even Eon commits suicide before Phaedra is dead. Even Phaedra commits suicide. So, major characters, that is Phaedra, Eon, Hippocrates, are all dead, and Tysius, he doesn't know what to do. He seems to be at shock. He seems to be at shock. He doesn't know what to do, and now he it is an open ended. The play is open ended. The story is open ended. We don't know what all happened after that. Okay, so the story begins from the place where Tysius is absence, and the Phaedra is all alone, wanting for love, wanting for lust, and she is struggling to confess her love to her stepson Hippocrates, and the story ends where she understands her mistake, and she becomes the responsible uh, being for the death of Hippocrates, an innocent man. She is the responsible person behind the death of Hippocrates, and she takes the complete blame. That is more commendable as a character, as a human being. She accepts her mistake, but it was too late. Okay, Tysius had already ordered to Neptune, and Neptune had already done his part of job, as and when he receives the message from Tysius, and Hippocrates was killed by the monster bull, Minotaur. Okay, so you need to understand the relationships, you need to understand the instances which happen in the act. The story consists of 5 acts. Okay, the story consists of 5 acts. The longest act is the act number fifth, where you see all the incidents, all the characters getting declined, are reaching the death stances, and the first act is also very much important. Definitely in examination they'll ask you related to the characters, related to the element of love and lust. Okay, element of love and lust, the relationship between Hippocrates and Arisia is love, and the relationship of Phaedra and Hippocrates is lust. Phaedra was lustful towards her stepson Hippocrates. So I hope you have understood the story of Phaedra. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. Okay, if you have questions one and two, I'll be happy to answer. If not, we'll see. Okay. Okay, then thank you so much for listening. I hope you have understood the play of Jean Rassen's feet. Okay, thank you.